Bang, bang, Southern Fried gang. Time to do it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Southern Fried Sports episode after dark. We've got our 50th episode coming up soon, so I wanted to kind of save that number for a big episode. Tonight, I had the kids alone, got them in the bed, all that good stuff. So we're going to call this one After Dark because we have a very late time. We're going to try to get in and out of here with some great sports talk real quick. We just had some breaking news happen. We just had Clemson upset Duke, number 2 in the country. Yes, they did. Clemson did, in fact, upset Duke after losing triple overtime to Georgia Tech just this past Tuesday. We will talk about that. Before we dive into any of the sports talk, we're going to talk Super Bowl. We're going to talk the golf. We're going to talk college basketball. We're going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And before we get into all of that, shout out to all the listeners, all the ones who come here consistently. Pinsman, Brian, Mark, Jay, Gamecock Chuck, P Digits. I'm sure I'm going to forget people. My dad, he's always out there watching somewhere. Don't forget W Energy Drinks. Don't forget we're on GreenvilleSportsMedia.com. Don't forget Furman Joust, Beef and Rib, Arden's Burger and Grill. And don't forget the new show that Mark, one of our listeners, also a part of Greenville Sports Media, he has it out now. He just did his first episode. Killed it in his first episode, the Fast Break Show with Coach Tiffany Sarden from PC Women's Basketball. It was a great show. We got to learn a lot about Coach Tiff. We got to learn some about Mark. So that was an awesome show. And with all of that said, I think that covers the shout outs. And again, welcome into Southern Fried Sports. I am your Southern Fried gentleman, JD Wyatt. We have a ton to get to this evening. And I wanted to start out with this question. How did Josh Allen win the MVP over Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson had more touchdown passes, he had less interceptions, and he had more passing yards. I feel like the NFL from time to time, they try to do this thing where they don't want people to get too tired of the same player winning the MVP over and over again. Because really, you could give it to the same player almost every year if you wanted to, for the most part. The only two players, though, that have won back-to-back since 2001 are Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning. They're the only two that have won back-to-back NFL regular season MVP awards. Lamar's gotten his two. Patrick Mahomes had a couple. Tom Brady had a couple. Aaron Rodgers, like I just mentioned, he won back-to-back 2020 and 2021. And so other than those guys, though, Lamar, Josh Allen didn't have one yet. So it was almost like it's his turn, right? I just feel like Lamar still should have gotten the MVP. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all send your comments in. Should it have been Lamar or should it have been Josh Allen? I could see it both ways, but it's based on the regular season, not how far Josh Allen got the Buffalo Bills compared to the Ravens. Just a thought. Maybe they saw it that Josh Allen did more with less. Maybe that's the case. And then I wanted to talk a little golf here on Southern Fried Sports appetizers this evening. So the first one was the Josh Allen or Lamar, who deserved it more. The second one here is about the Waste Management Phoenix Open. What a golf tournament, y'all. What a spectacle that they put on for their fans there. The 16th hole being wrapped completely with stands to where if you're in there, everybody gets to watch these guys play par 3. It's fantastic. And dude, they're brutal. All right. The fans there on that 16th hole, they're brutal. If they're not happy with the shot you make, they will boo you. It is not your traditional golf setting by any stretch of the imagination. And so I really enjoy the Waste Management Open. I love the Scottsdale. I love it. Those fans seem so into it there. Like I said, they're booing you if you make a bad shot. They'll cheer for you, though, if you make a good one. They will engage with you if you engage with them. And it's just a fantastic golf experience there, I do believe, at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Dietrich, he's going to enter the final day at 18 under with a 5-stroke lead over Spieth, Kim, and a few others. And 5, guys, that number 5, just to tease you a little bit, might come up several times here in the next few minutes. The number 5. Keep that in mind. You might hear that very, very soon. We got Tiger Stripes Media in the house. Hey, buddy, how are you? Gamecock Chuck. Hey, man, we'll talk about the Gamecocks here in a minute. That's one of the things about 5 that we'll get into. And so do you guys, though, have any comments about Lamar and Josh Allen or the golf at Waste Management Phoenix Open at the Players Club in Scottsdale, Arizona? What a spectacle that 16th hole is. It's fantastic. The next thing I wanted to get into, though, was college basketball, you guys. And let's just we'll go through just the top 25. We had Kentucky flat blow out the Gamecocks 80-57. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Alabama, Arkansas playing right now 40-34. LSU leads number 25, Ole Miss 39-33 at halftime. Clemson upsets number 2 Duke. I just mentioned it earlier. We're going to go into that in just a moment. 77-71. Mississippi State won. Here was the big one of the day. The top 2 teams, not just Duke, but Auburn. Auburn also went down today to the hands of the Florida Gators, who have now beat the number 1 ranked team not once, but twice this year. Texas A&M squeaked out a close one at Missouri, 67-64. What is going on in Kansas? Can anybody tell me that? That was one I wanted to definitely mention. Kansas State, 81, Kansas, 73 today. Kansas never had a chance in that game. That is not how I expect a Kansas team to play. Number 4, Tennessee beat Oklahoma. Texas Tech and Arizona, though, they play later on this evening. 3.5-point spread. Should be a very close game. But back to the ones I wanted to talk about mostly. I told you the number 5 was going to be a very big deal this evening. So let's start off with the Gamecocks. Got flat blown out. And we've all talked about what the Gamecocks issues are. Okay. What is it? Is it shooting? Is it talent? Is it scheme? Is it turnovers? At this point, it just seems like it's something different each and every night. We can't seem to play clean in all phases of the game, whether it be rebounding, turnovers, shooting the ball, which, hey, by the way, crazy stat of the day, ladies and gentlemen. You ready for this one? The Gamecocks took more shots today than they scored points. Yes, you heard me correct. The Gamecocks shot the ball 58 times today, and they only scored 57 points. I don't want to do that math off the top of my head, but that is not a very good shooting percentage. Of that, I can assure you. And so I just don't understand. The Gamecocks, they've lost 5 games by less than 5 points. It's a very good competition. And then they show up today and get blown out by, again, very good competition. I don't know what's going on with the Gamecocks men's basketball program. But however, speaking of 5, Clemson, they just got their 5th straight win versus an AP top 5 opponent. That's pretty impressive for somebody that we used to call Brad Brown, LLLLL. We might have to start putting a little emphasis on the W in Brown. Brad Brown L. Very quiet on the L part because they have the longest streak in the nation with wins against AP top 5 ranked opponents right now. Clemson does. What a game. When I first started watching it, it didn't look good to begin with. I think they got down 7 or 8 early on. I thought they were going to be out talented. And then speaking of breaking news, how about Cooper Flagg there at the end of the game? That will be a viral moment. Him slipping down and turning over the ball on the travel. That will be a viral moment for Cooper Flagg, the one that they anointed the next biggest thing in basketball. He's going to be the best thing since LeBron, Zion Williamson, and all. They do it every year. There's always one guy they got to hype up. This year, it's Cooper Flagg. Rightfully so. Great player, don't get me wrong. But that will be a viral moment of him slipping down and turning the ball over. I don't know if it'll surpass Zion Williamson blowing out his shoe, though, for Duke. I don't know. What'll be bigger? Cooper Flagg slipping or Zion Williamson blowing out his shoe? I would have to say Zion blowing out his shoe would be a bigger moment. But that one for Cooper Flagg, it's going to be big. It'll be all over the internet. Somebody's going to put some music to it or something, I'm sure. If not, I'll do it. Don't worry. I'll look it up. I'll see if I can put some music to the video. Should be interesting. But Clemson escaped, no less, with a win. And it's amazing. If they had just beaten Georgia Tech the other day in that triple overtime thriller, we were just talking about Clemson being ranked, how they should be ranked. And now that they lost, though, to Georgia Tech, they beat Duke. I mean, it kind of cancels. They probably still won't get ranked. But if they had beaten both, you could be looking at a number 18 ranking, number 21 ranking. You could have really projected yourself up there in the rankings. I almost said shot up the rankings, but I know what you guys on the stream would do with that. Family show. Eyes up here, people. But yeah, it's amazing, though, Clemson. I had a feeling they would beat Duke. I really thought it would come after a Georgia Tech win. If you had told me that they were going to beat Duke but lose to Georgia Tech, I'd have been like, no. They would let Georgia Tech beat them twice maybe at that point. But no. Clemson went out, handled business. 5th consecutive win over an AP top 5 opponent. So here we are, Clemson Tigers and Gamecock fans. We just went from really happy with Lamont Paris and Clemson fans really sad about Brad Brownell to opposite boats. Now, Gamecock fans, they're not so happy with Lamont Paris, but Clemson fans are hunky-dory with old Brad Brownell. Emphasis on the W, like I said. And it's wild. I told you guys 5 would be a big number. 5 losses by less than 5 points by the Gamecocks. Meanwhile, Clemson gets their 5th consecutive win versus an AP top 5 opponent. What a day to be a Clemson Tiger fan. Gamecock Chuck, the Gamecocks in the first half had more rebounds than points, or is that the Tigers, Chuck? I assume you're talking about the Gamecocks. But if I'm wrong, just let me know. Like I said, I know Clemson. They looked like they were getting outclassed that first few minutes of the game that I was watching. But indeed, what a game. And then again, don't forget, the Gamecocks, I'm sure that's who he was talking about. Because they shot more shots than they had points. Meanwhile, we've got Clemson just doing big, big things. 5th straight win versus AP top 5 opponent. It's a big accomplishment for somebody that everybody wanted fired like a year and a half ago. Make an Elite Eight run in the NCAA tournament. Man, that'll do wonders for somebody's career. Yeah, Gamecocks. Yeah, that's what I imagine. So, yeah, the Gamecocks in the first half had more rebounds than points. Like, and I've asked this question, Chuck. Are they practicing with the wrong ball, and when they get in the game, they just can't shoot it because it's not the right size ball? Like, what is the deal? Clearly, these dudes aren't missing this many shots in practice, or else you got to go find somebody that can put the ball in the hoop at the end of the day. Isn't that the ultimate goal of basketball? To put the ball in the hoop? I mean, I'm no rocket scientist. I'm no basketball coach, but at the end of the day, it seems pretty important to get the ball in the hoop. It's how you score points. I mean, we see the rapid rate that NBA is scoring points, which we'll talk some NBA stuff here in a minute as well. But y'all get comfortable. P Digits, I see you. Appreciate you being here. Tiger Stripes Media, he shouts out Mark. Mark says, what's up? Hey, Mark, what's up, brother? Great show the other night. You did a fantastic job, as says Tiger Stripes Media and myself. You're the man. P Digits. P Digits. All right, y'all. Conversation's about to get good. Conversation's about to get real good. All right. So I'll tell you what. I covered my college basketball stuff. We'll see. We still got Arkansas, Alabama playing. I mentioned the other game. I think it was Texas Tech and Arizona. They're the late game. That should be a good game as well. But, man, yeah, just Gamecocks. 5 losses by 5 points or less to a number of teams. 0-10 in the SEC. Meanwhile, you've got the Clemson Tigers. 5 consecutive wins versus AP top 5 opponents. Just makes me sick to my stomach, y'all. So I'll tell you what, we're going to shift a little bit of gears. We're going to move over to some Super Bowl talk right after this. Now I'll tell you what, we'll double back. We'll go back. I was talking about the Gamecocks. So speaking of SEC and South Carolina, I wanted to run this by you guys. So I got the update the other day that the SEC had revenue sharing of $808 million to be split up amongst 16 teams. And they said the number was $52.5 million per. And so, like I just told you guys, I am no rocket scientist, but I wanted to double check their math. 52.5 million didn't seem right. And when I did the math, $808 million divided by 16 is actually, in fact, $50.5 million. So did they just miscalculate in this update? Or was the SEC letter or whatever the media press release or whatever that they put out, was that number wrong there for them to say 52.5 million? And so I was a bit confused by that. But either way, at the end of the day, that's a hefty chunk of change for a conference to bring in athletics for a year. We all know most of it's football. But that's still, that's mostly just their TV rights deals and stuff. It's not even their athletic department revenues, really. It's really just their TV deals and all that stuff that they get that $808 million. But yeah, is it 50.5 million? Am I crazy? Because they said 52.5, and unless they just added in some of the fines that some of these teams get for storming each other's courts and all that kind of nonsense, their math was wrong. Just a little bit. And so, with that said, who will be the bigger revenue this year? Is it going to be the SEC or will it be the Big Ten? I got a feeling it's going to be the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten is going to bring in more than $808 million whenever that number is reported. I imagine it will be soon. I would probably put the Big Ten at about $840 million. Maybe a touch higher. But they've brought in a bit more revenue than the SEC has over the last few years, if I'm not mistaken on that. Gamecock Chuck says, great win for your Tigers. Yep, we were just talking about that a minute ago. P. Digits needed that after losing to Georgia Tech was ridiculous. Hey, P. Digits, I literally just said that just before you jumped in. I said if you had told me that Clemson would lose to Georgia Tech but beat Duke, I would have told you you're crazy. I would have said Clemson beats Georgia Tech and beats Duke, not loses to Duke or loses to Georgia Tech and then beats Duke. We just talked about they should have been ranked, but man, oh man, oh man. Am I going to watch the girls play tomorrow versus number 4 Texas? Plan on going live for it at 2 o'clock? Yeah, most likely I'll be tuned into that. Gamecock Chuck. Yeah. We're going to be doing some cooking. We're going to bring that up when we come back here in just a few minutes. Going to be doing some cooking and stuff tomorrow. So, hey, I want to know y'all's Super Bowl plans. I want to know all of your food items. I want to know if you're going to a party. I want to know if you're staying at home. I want to know what it is you like to cook, what it is you like to eat. We're going to talk about all of that here in just a few minutes. We're going to reset it. Thank you for all your comments. Appreciate you guys being here. The Southern Fried Gentleman will be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get down to the nitty gritty. We all know what weekend it is. It's the final weekend that there's no college baseball or NASCAR anymore. Wait, that doesn't seem right. Isn't there something else going on this weekend? Is there a football game this weekend? Oh, that's right, the Super Bowl. Of course, we can't get out of here without talking a little bit of Super Bowl. So with that in mind, number one biggest question. What's your prediction? I am going to say it's going to be 30-27 Chiefs. They're going to win it on a field goal in overtime. Score will be 27-27 at the end of the fourth quarter. The Eagles will be leading 27-20. Patrick Mahomes will put together a ridiculous drive to tie the game, send it into overtime. Philadelphia will get the ball. Chiefs will stop them, go down, get a field goal. Game over. 30-27. Chiefs win. How is that for an elaborate prediction? If all of that happens, we'll talk about if I'm a witch or not. I highly doubt any of that will happen. I highly doubt that I'll get the score right. I highly doubt that I'll get anything right. And so with that in mind, are you guys going to gamble on anything? Did you take any squares? Are you taking any prop bets? Gamecock Chuck says he is staying at home and watching Green Acre reruns, followed by MASH. What are you, 76, Gamecock Chuck? I know you're not that old, but that comment sounds that old. That's funny, though. Of course, I'm going to watch the game. Now, that's what I would say, too. So, I would be okay going to a Super Bowl party. because this is one of those games that I don't really care to watch that much. Now, if it's my team, though, if it's my team, I want to stay at home. I don't want anybody bothering me. I want to be tuned in to every single play. Like, I don't want no distractions if it's my team. And so I feel like when people don't really have a vested interest, so like if you're a non-Eagles fan or a non-Chiefs fan, you kind of just, you're good. You just saw this matchup 2 years ago. Go to a Super Bowl party, socialize, have a good time, eat somebody else's food. Eat somebody else's food. That's always nice. That's the best part about a Super Bowl party, the delicious food. And so with that in mind, Gamecock Chuck, P Digits, Tiger Stripes, Mark, I think you already told me it's a Philly cheesesteaks tomorrow for the Super Bowl. Philly cheesesteaks. Go Eagles, says Mark. Best believe it. I'm rooting for the Eagles. I think the Chiefs will win. I'm rooting for the Eagles. Want in one hand, poop in the other. See which one fills up first. I don't think the Eagles will end up winning. I think the Eagles will come out fighting. I think the Eagles could come out and jump out to a lead. But at the end of the day, I think the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes' magic, I think, will get the job done. Let's see. Tiger Stripes. Going to sidecast the game. If things go right, 34-28 Eagles. What do you mean if things go right? You mean that whole referee conspiracy that everybody's saying this is the most ridiculous thing they've ever heard? It just always seems to help the Chiefs at the right time. And then, of course, when the Chiefs play 15 one-score games, of course, these calls are going to be highlighted more so than any other. But no one football game is lost or won on one single play. P Digits, he says he's having chicken spaghetti. Not bad. We had something similar to that the other night. I think it was called Marry Me Chicken. It was pretty good. Gamecock Chuck, nothing special planned to eat tomorrow. So could I interest you then, Gamecock Chuck, in some like Rotel cheese dip? You know, some ground turkey, cream cheese, all kinds of other cheese, queso cheese, like a Rotel cheese dip. It's pretty delicious. That's going to be one thing we have. We're going to have some chicken wings, obviously. To me, Super Bowl chicken wings. That's just what it is to me. Super Bowl chicken wings. Give me chicken wings. Lots and lots of chicken wings. Give me the celery, the carrots, the blue cheese, the mild sauce. Just give me all different flavors, all different chicken wings, drums, flats. I don't care. Just give me the wings. Give me good food. I'm all for good food. Gamecock Chuck, he does say the Chiefs will win 33-32. Interesting, because that would put them within the point spread. Very interesting. Point spread right now is only 1.5, unless it's changed. Tiger Stripes Media says I'm going wings. Gamecock Chuck, chicken wings are overrated. See, I think I'm gonna do mine on the grill. So there's a trick to cooking good chicken wings, Chuck. So you got to take them, you got to bake them a little while on a low temperature. And that's what's called like blanching them almost. And then you take them after they cool down a little bit. Then you want to take them and deep fry them or put them on the grill or whatever. And then that gives you that nice crispy outside where you can put the sauce on them and toss them around. And you need some good chicken wings, Chuck. Yeah, we'll have to hook you up. I'll have to see if I can get you some chicken wings. P Digits. I think Kelsey proposes to Swift after they win. They're going to celebrate by going to Disney World. There is a prop bet. You can bet on that if you wanted to, ladies and gentlemen. You could go online and bet on it. P Digit says Gamecock Chuck is crazy. Wings are overrated? No, I'm a fan of them. Smoked wings, finish them on high heat. Boom. Yep. You got to get that little pre-cook, right? P digits. You got to get that little pre-cook on the wings. Not enough meat for what you get. Yeah, true. But hey, I love crab legs too, man. Shoot, crab legs, they're work, but I'll eat the fire out of them. Eat the fire out of some crab legs, man. All right, and of course, we're going to get hungry on Southern Fried Sports. And so that clears out our Southern Fried entrees, though. I hope y'all have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Don't drink and drive. It's a dumb thing to do. Y'all be safe and everything out there this evening, tomorrow evening, whatever you decide to do for the Super Bowl. Have a good time. Enjoy the game. Be kind to people. And eat lots of food. Have a good time. Speaking of having a good time, the one thing I did forget to mention about the Clemson game earlier, though, before we hit our last Southern Fried dessert for this evening, the one thing I did forget to mention was Dick Vitale being back calling the game at the Clemson Duke game, man. How awesome it was. He's beaten cancer like 4 times, 4 different types of cancer, I think they said it was as well. So huge shout out to Dickie V, one of the college basketball greats. He is the man. Dick Vitale. I did forget to mention that when talking about Clemson and everything. And then P digits. Yeah, man, there's not enough meat on them. That's why you eat 14 chicken wings. Of course. Eat 14 chicken wings. Shoot, I could eat 14 clusters of crab legs. Not even kidding. Mad Therapy in the house. Hey, what's up, my guy? Appreciate you jumping in here for a minute. You've missed all the good talk so far. You missed all the talk about the fives. Clemson, 5 straight wins versus AP top 5 opponents. South Carolina, 5 losses by 5 points or less. 0-10 in the SEC, multiple of 5. You missed the rule of 5. Yes, it does. Gamecock Chuck, cancer sucks indeed. P digits, glad he's healthy, but got tired of him talking about Flag. Yeah, like I mentioned that earlier too. Cooper Flag, yep, he had himself a viral moment this evening. P digits, I asked that question. What's a bigger deal? Zion blowing out his shoe or Cooper Flag slipping and turning over the ball with a chance to possibly tie the game for the Duke Blue Devils? Wow. What a game, though. Clemson comes out with the win. Last question about the Super Bowl, and then we're going to hit our Southern Fried dessert for this evening. Are you going to watch the halftime show? Are you going to watch the halftime show? My dad, I know he's out there listening. He asked me the other day, he said, hey, who is the halftime show this year? And I said, you wouldn't know him. And I'm afraid to tell you to look up any of his music, to be honest with you. So, just maybe don't watch the halftime show, maybe. Probably be a good idea, Dad. Here we go. Chuck, nope. Mad Therapy, nope. P Digits, nope. Nobody will be watching the halftime show, and neither will Poppy. Yeah, he asked, like I said, he asked me, and I said, you probably wouldn't know him, and even if you didn't, I'm not going to tell you where to look him up. You're good. You're good. You don't need to be exposed to that at this age, Dad. You're good. You're good. You got to preach tomorrow at church, man. You don't need to hear that nonsense. Make sure you pray extra, though, for all the people that will hear it tomorrow at church, ladies and gentlemen. P Digits probably won't watch much of the game, truthfully. I mean, honestly, I'll probably be in and out. It'll probably be time for the boys' baths and this and that. We're going to be cooking. I really don't care who wins, honestly. I think the Chiefs will win. I don't really care either way. So I'm with you, man. I don't know. Yeah, here we go. I was going to ask that question. Is there anyone out there that bet on props? And Mad Therapy apparently has bet on a prop. He'll be watching because he has to keep track of how many times Taylor is on the TV. So I'm hoping that you bet the over on that one, Mad Therapy. And so with all that said, thank you guys for your comments. Y'all are amazing. The one last dessert that I wanted to get in, and it was another bit of breaking news. So we've done everything this episode, and now it's time for some NBA talk. I could not believe that the Lakers traded Dalton Knecht for that center from the Hornets. I get it, they needed a center. But to me, Dalton Knecht was absolutely one of the ones who should have been untouchable. And as I wrote this down, it was during the Lakers-Pacers game. And Austin Reeves proceeds to go out there and score 45 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Absolutely goes off. So a depleted Lakers team beat the Pacers. Meanwhile, I'm over here complaining about Knecht getting traded. And then the news comes out. Trade rescinded. Someone didn't hold up their end of the deal. Therefore, the Reeves trade and all of that stuff, the Dalton Knecht trade has been canceled. It is no longer good. The Knecht will stay with the Lakers. Wow. You got Luka, LeBron. They're going to play Monday. Like I said, they just beat the Pacers. And like I said, I was complaining that they traded Knecht. Lo and behold, the trade got rejected. Funny how that works. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't do a whole lot of it. Just a little tidbit here and there. And I only really got interested in it right here around the trade deadline again. For the most part, I really do not pay much attention to the NBA. But I like to show a little versatility here on Southern Fried Sports. Regardless of what sport it is, what take it is I have, it's my Southern Fried opinion is what you're getting from me. You're getting the way my brain works, my thoughts on it, my questions on it. And so, yeah, I really couldn't believe that the Lakers traded Knecht, and then, lo and behold, it doesn't matter anyway because it was completely rejected. And so with all that in mind, though, how about Josh Allen over Lamar? Who should have won the MVP? College basketball, wild day, Clemson, winners. WM Phoenix Open, Waste Management Phoenix Open. We talked about the 16th hole there, man. Those fans are amazing and brutal all at the same time. What a spectacle, though, for golf they've built there at the Players Club of Scottsdale. I love that whole course. I do. I especially love that 16th hole. I mean, to me, that is up there with the iconic holes in golf. Talk about number 13 at the Masters. Waste Management, number 16, to me, one of the top holes in golf, for sure. Oh, no. Hey, no, I wasn't. No, I was just explaining it to you that way, though, too. There's, I got some fans like NBA. I try to squeeze it in. I also try to talk relevant stuff. So obviously football stuff might be getting a little less relevant here soon. So yeah, P Digits, he says, no knock on you, JD, or your show. I've watched more JD than the NBA this year. Just saying. I can assure you, and I don't mean this to sound cocky, but I go back and I grade my shows sometimes. So I myself have watched more of myself than NBA this year. I learn a lot by updates and reading very quickly. Very, very quickly. And so sometimes I talk just as quickly. And we have wonderful 40-minute episodes where we talk about NFL, Clemson, Gamecocks, college basketball, NBA, anything in between, your comments. Gamecock Chuck says he's seen more JD than NBA in the last 30 years. Down for it, man. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. We're up to 157 subscribers, y'all. We've had over 3,500 views this week, thanks to the Furman and Western Carolina game the other day. Thanks to everybody that tunes in: Mark, Tiger Stripes Media, Mad Therapy, Poppy, anybody else that might pop in here from time to time, man. I really appreciate you guys. Shout out, of course, GreenvilleSportsMedia.com. Shout out to TheFurmanJoust.com. Shout out Arden's Burger and Grill, Beef and Rib. Shout out to Dubby Energy Drinks as well. Don't forget the Fast Break Show with Mark Livingston and Coach Tiffany Sarden. That's going to be coming your way again next Thursday. He's going to be covering some Big South stuff for you guys. We're getting big, doing big things at Greenville Sports Media and everything. And with all of that in mind, again, y'all have a wonderful Super Bowl Sunday. Y'all be blessed, not stressed. Just be kind to one another, dang it. And make sure to smash that like and subscribe button like P Digit says right here on your way out. We'll see y'all again very soon. Good night.